So before we move on to this next section, I wanted to say good job. You've successfully learned the tools that you need in order to version control virtually anything in your database. This means updates will be faster, it means your code will be more secure, and you can roll back to various points and see what changes have been made specifically at various points in time. Now, one of the tools that we covered, the features module, allows you to bundle together components so you can quickly deploy a whole set of configuration changes with just a click. Now, so far, we've explored how to use that on a single site in order to manage changes between different instances of the site. And we also mentioned that you can take these feature modules and enable them on other sites that are completely unrelated to your site, except for the fact that they need similar functionality. Now, this is incredibly powerful, especially if you're dealing with a number of different sites, or you have a process where you need to create sites at a rapid clip. It also means that when you make an update to a feature module on one site, then you can pull those changes into all of your sites just the same way that we pulled changes in on production after making changes on our development site. So this can be an incredibly powerful way to enhance your workflow and to sync up code between a whole bunch of different projects that have similar needs. But it comes at a cost. So let's go ahead and review the typical process of updating a feature. So we have a feature module, and now we've made some changes to it, and we need to push that to every other place that uses that feature module. If we look at the process of updating that feature module, we'll be able to see what the problems are with it. So the typical update process is going to be very similar to updating another module. We're first going to paste in the new feature over the old version. So we're taking that module, the new module, pasting it over the old one. Then we're going to revert back the feature. So that will reset our configuration in our site to what's now in code. So this is where the main problem is. On different projects using this feature module, they may have different individual settings. So for example, if we have a view in this feature module, and on one site it shows 10 items per page, and on another site it shows 15 items per page, one of those is going to be overriding the original feature setting. This means that if we change the number of items in our original module, we now have to integrate the changes from our site with the changes that have been made to the base feature module. So at this point, we have two options. We can either manually apply our changes again by keeping a record of all of the changes that we've made to the feature. Now, one downside to this is that these changes live in the database. They're no longer in our feature module. They're considered overrides to our base feature module. Or the other option is finding out what updates were made in the original module and then bringing those changes back into our modified feature module that we're using on our site. Now, both of these two solutions are problematic. They require some manual manipulation of the feature module or of configuration in the database in order to bring things together. And doing this can be very error-prone. In this first option, we don't have our configuration changes in code. So when we manually bring in our updates, we have to make sure that we have a list of all of the changes that we made. And something could slip through the cracks and we'd lose it forever. In this second option, we go through a painful process of identifying what changes have been made in the original feature in order to bring them into our customized feature. And again, we can miss something in that process. Now, there's one alternative to this, and it's not necessarily easier, but it is more sustainable and it brings everything into code. And that's instead of modifying the feature module itself, we instead make code-based modifications from another module using hook functions in order to adjust anything that we need to adjust. So for example, we can create a hook function to adjust that view to use a certain number of items per page. That leaves our feature module pristine, so it can be updated without any modifications. So in the next sections, what we're going to do is override several different components that could be in your feature module using hooks like this. Then, just in case you need to do it, we'll show you how to copy a feature and make it your own feature so that you can make updates to that feature in code and then manually bring in any updates to the original feature later on.